Day and night. Day and night. The Earth turns on its axis one full revolution every 24 hours. As the Earth turns, it moves around the Sun. The Sun is over 10,000 times larger than the Earth, but due to its far distance, it appears the same size in this demonstration. As the Earth turns, we can see the Sun rise in the morning and set in the evening. The side of the Earth that faces the Sun is in daytime, and the side of the Earth that faces away from the Sun is in nighttime. Click on the correct answers in the right order to complete the passage. Next tutorial. North and South Hemispheres. The Earth has a north and a south pole. These are very cold places because they are constantly the furthest away from the Sun. There is an imaginary line which runs right around the centre of the world. It is known as the equator, and it is the area of the Earth's surface that is closest to the Sun. Some of the hottest regions on Earth can be found on or near the equator. The equator separates the Earth into the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere. Next tutorial. The Tropics. Here are more imaginary lines that divide the Earth. They are known as the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Next, lines of latitude. These imaginary lines, the equator, Tropic of Cancer, and Tropic of Capricorn, run around the world from east to west. They are also known as lines of latitude or parallel lines. The equator, being the centre, is said to be at 0 degrees latitude. The Tropic of Cancer is 23.5 degrees north of the equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn is 23.5 degrees south of the equator. Next, lines of longitude. The imaginary lines going from the top to the bottom are known as lines of longitude or meridians. The prime meridian divides the Earth into the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere and is said to be at 0 degrees. Longitude lines are needed to divide the world further into reference points for mapping purposes. Next, dawn approaches Australia. Earth turns 15 degrees every hour and makes a full revolution of 360 degrees in one day. For example, as dawn moves towards Australia, the first rays of sun can be seen at this point. 80 minutes later, it can be seen at this point, and then 2 hours later at this point. Next, reference system. If you flatten out the Earth, you will see a map of the world in a rectangular form. You will notice vertical lines and horizontal lines. The vertical lines are the longitude or meridian lines. The horizontal lines are the latitude or parallel lines. Latitude always measures north or south. Longitude always measures east or west. These lines all have a reference in degrees and compass points. Next tutorial. Reference points. Now, take a look at this map of Australia. These are lines of latitude and longitude. These lines divide the world into reference points needed for mapping. The easternmost part of the Australian mainland is located at a longitude of 154 degrees east. The westernmost part is at a longitude of 113 degrees east. The northernmost part is at a latitude of 12 degrees south, and the southernmost part is at a latitude of 38 degrees south. Next, reference points or coordinates. On the map of New South Wales, locate the following coordinates: a latitude of 33 degrees south and longitude of 149 degrees east. Take a closer look at the square and the degrees around it. Equally spaced between 30 degrees and 35 degrees are the latitudinal lines of 31 degrees, 32 degrees, 33 degrees, and 34 degrees south. Also, equally spaced between 145 degrees and 150 degrees are the longitudinal lines of 146 degrees, 147 degrees, 148 degrees, and 149 degrees east. As you can see, the required coordinates are at the intersection of latitude 33 degrees south and longitude 149 degrees east. Next, scale. At the bottom left of the screen is a scale. A scale on a map is an indicator used to measure the distance between 2 points. In this example, one section happens to measure 1 centimetre. This means that 1 centimetre equals 100 kilometres on this map. So, if you measure between Sydney and Canberra by ruler, it shows 3 centimetres. The 3 centimetres on the scale represents 300 kilometres, making the actual distance from Sydney to Canberra 300 kilometres. So, by placing your ruler on the scale and measuring a section, you can calculate how many centimetres represent a certain number of kilometres. Then, with your ruler, take a measurement between 2 points and work out the actual distance in kilometres. Next, to topographical map. This distance is only an approximation since you are measuring a straight line or as the crow flies. There are winding roads, rivers, and other paths that can add more distance between 2 points. A better way of approximating a distance is to take a piece of string and follow a road or path, then stretch it out and measure it against the scale. In fact, there are hills and valleys to also consider. So in order to get the exact distance, these factors must also be taken into account. A topographical map gives a detailed description of physical elements such as hills, valleys, and flat plains. Next, legend. A legend is a collection of symbols that provide other important information about a map. Examples of these symbols are capital cities, main roads, towns, railway lines, rivers, airports, and so on. Navigation. Back